following is a presentation of the OSC Podcast Network.
Hello? Hey, yo, Stag. Hey, sorry to bother you. Who's that? It's me, Stag. Well, speak your piece then, playboy. Anyways, hey, man, I just wanted to let you know that me and Boski, we're fixing to do this P.T.G.C podcast, and we're fixing to do the first episode, and man, dog, it'd mean the world to me if you chimed in and gave us like a drop or something. Okay, you want me to do a drop? Okay. Fuck your podcast.
Welcome to the P.T.G.C podcast. That's Pimp Trick Gangsta Click, brought to you by the OSC Podcast Network. You can find us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also find our content on Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Rivera. I'll usually be joined by my co-host, Rashaun Labeau, but I'm recording this intro after we recorded this particular episode. This was actually supposed to be our second episode, but unfortunately, technical difficulties prevented the first one from coming into fruition. If you've joined us because you're in hopes of finding something that you can take and use to make either yourself or this world better than it was prior to listening to us, then you've come to the wrong place. We're just a couple of normal guys talking abnormal shit and sharing opinions from absolutely anything and everything. From time to time, you'll hear from Snag. For those of you that know, you already know. And for those that don't, you'll eventually learn. We'll also be joined by various friends of the show throughout our run here on the P.T.G.C. And we're going to go ahead and get into our episode here. We're talking Star Wars, more specifically the latest two releases, The Force Awakens and Rogue One, as we gear up for this Christmas's release of Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Please be sure to leave a comment below or a review if you're listening, especially if you're listening to the podcast. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review, and much appreciation is given for you guys to take the time to listen. Hope you enjoy the show. Now, you just recently seen these two movies, didn't you, Rashaun?
On Netflix.
What'd you think of them? You know, before we even get into what you thought of them, how did you first get into Star Wars, and kind of explain your, just like a little brief rundown of your history with Star Wars?
Well, like with everybody else, I'm 40, so I was born the year the first one came out.
Shout outs to 40.
Yeah. Shout out to Aquarius too. Year of the Snake too. For all my Chinese peeps. My mom took me to go see Return of the Jedi in 1983.
What theater?
Cash Road Cinema.
Shout out to Cash Road
Right
Cinemas.
next to Eddie Cord's Jeep Eagle when that was still out.
The building is still there, but ain't shit in that parking lot.
What's their problem with that? Tear that shit down and let Chicken Express expand. That's like, you take it up now. That should be a big shopping center. The theater is gone, and then you got Eddie Cord's just sitting there with one car in it. What are you doing?
It's literally Eddie's car. Eddie Cord's car.
You've been dead for 30 years.
Alright, we're getting back to Star Wars.
Okay, so obviously a fan of Star Wars. Actually went to Return the Jedi opening week, 1983.
Were they dressing up in shit back then?
Nobody did dumb shit like
that. This is the new millennial shit.
Yeah, because back then you get clowned for doing that. Even if you like the movie, nobody shows up dressed up.
Yeah, back in the day, we fucked you up.
Yeah, nobody was at the theater. Didn't have a little Darth Vader suit on. And back then, you had the Walmart brand where it's just a plastic mask. And nobody did that. Nobody did that. So I've actually went to opening week, Return of the Jedi. And then as someone who grew up during the Ted Turner years of TBS, he would literally play all the time James Bond, and Star Wars.
You know, we're going to touch on James Bond because I know you're real passionate about James Bond, as am I, but we're going to stick to Star Wars on this one. You know, explain, you know, nowadays you got DirecTV, hundreds of channels at your fingertips. Explain how special TBS was back then.
TBS back then, obviously there wasn't Netflix, there was no Wi-Fi, there was no internet, obviously. So Ted Turner, and it was just like how people feel about WGN. Mm-hmm. That's why there's so many Chicago Cubs fans who are not from Chicago.
And well, it's interesting. That's why my dad's an Atlanta fan, because TBS. Those are the
only
games he
signal
saw.
that hit Puerto Rico. It's the only thing. Gomer Pyle and Atlanta Braves. So the back in the day, Ted Turner played all the classic movies you wanted to watch. Obviously, he had the Atlanta Braves. He had SEC football for a little bit, and that's when I first saw Craig Sager. Mm-hmm. He was working on TBS.
Was he still wearing the wild shit?
He's still wearing but he was actually outside. He was doing football games.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, you don't remember him on the sideline. I remember Craig Sager on the sideline.
Hey, hold on. Snag wants to say something real quick.
Respect, playboy.
And he would play every classic spaghetti western, all your Clint Eastwood, Good, the Bad, and the Uglies, Jim Brown movies, every James Bond. TNT would always play.
What was a big Jim Brown movie back then?
He played in a few. I mean, obviously, the one biggest one is Dirty Dozen.
Oh,
but
okay.
he had.
I'm over here thinking black exploitation and shit like that.
Well, he did a couple of those, but he didn't do black exploitation Ted Turner that much. Now he did play Cleopatra Jones every now and then, which was a big movie.
Pam Grier.
No.
No?
No.
Who the fuck's in that?
Some chick, because they made a part 2 to it. But Cleopatra Jones, you know, she was this dark-skinned chick who was avenging. Oh, she was a CIA agent or something like that, and she was avenging the death of her sister who OD'd on heroin. So
The man gave her.
the man. So Cleopatra Jones. I don't remember that being Pam Grier, but no, it's not Pam Grier.
I'm about to look it up.
Yeah. He Tick was Jim Brown movie, excuse me. But he would play those shows all the time. And Smokey and the Bandit and Gator. I mean, all the great Burt Reynolds movies from back in the 70s when Burt Reynolds was running things.
Respect game.
So, and then early in the morning, you would get Father Knows Best. You would get Gomer Pyle in the afternoon, and, you know, just good times. So.
Okay, so Cleopatra Jones, Tamara Dobson.
All
right, so you went to the movie theater for Return of the Jedi back in 1983. 1977, of course, is when Episode 4 comes out. Now, in 77, it comes out as just Star Wars. There was no Episode 4. They didn't, didn't know, how far this was going to go. So 77 Star Wars, 1980 Empire Strikes Back, 83 Return of the Jedi. Were you Jedi or were you Sith?
Well, we didn't know nothing about no Sith.
Well, those were the bad guys.
We didn't know him as Sith. We just knew Vader and the Empire was the bad guy.
Is that right?
Nobody talked like that.
Okay.
There was no Sith until Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay.
We didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And we didn't know this Sith thing is brand new. Watch the first 3. I don't think Sith is mentioned.
You may be right.
And then I went to the theater to see in the 90s, the revamped versions, the remastered and the pieces he put in there.
How do you feel about that? Because
I don't think nothing of them.
Because no. A lot of people, I don't know, man. They just take this shit way too seriously, man. They think that he's he's ruining his masterpieces, and you put it out, you leave it as is, and they think it's like he's tampering with something so.
It was
sacred.
a money grab.
No, we know why he's doing it, but I just don't get why people take that shit so personal. Like, I can understand if they take the originals and somehow, some way make it to where we can never see them again, but they're still around. You want those, you prefer the old ones, fucking watch the old ones.
That whole night was ruined. I went to go see that movie, and before I bought the tickets, I was...
We're talking the night you went to the theater?
Well, as a grown-up for the revamped Star Wars.
Okay.
That first one. Side note, I was on a date, and she wanted to pay with her own money, but left her purse at the house. And I was like, this is a date. I got you
But she wanted to show her own independence.
She wanted to show her own independence.
But she left the money at the crib.
We left the money at the crib, so we had to go back to the crib and get.
Those are one of my moves.
And I told her ass about that because I eventually ran into her in Arlington not that long ago, and half of her face is paralyzed, so it's because of that.
God damn.
Yeah, and single mother. So you're welcome for getting for being independent. I'm gonna be petty right now.
If you're listening, we appreciate the listen.
And she asked for my phone number.
Recently? Damn.
So F you.
All right, so...
but back, my love of... I've watched it. It becomes a holiday classic now, like Christmas Story.
Right, every Christmas is Star Wars.
You're seeing Star Wars, and we're not even going to talk about that bullshit Ewok movie. And, but, the resurgence of Star Wars also through Family Guy, which I think Family Guy is brilliant because Family Guy spoke to me. Mm-hmm. It pointed out every single flaw the movie had, even down to parsecs, meaning something else other than what it meant in the movie. Well, and why didn't you just do this and we would have...
Yeah, but Clerks did that back then as well when they talked, especially the little running gag that they had where the rebels were murderers because when they blew up the Death Star in Return of the Jedi, that wasn't being done. It wasn't done being built. They killed innocent contractors. Because, stormtroopers weren't building that shit.
Yeah. So, yeah. And who's to say that the Alliance ain't full of shit, which I think they are.
Okay, but we'll get to that here in a second. So
there ain't nothing but fucking ISIS. Okay. Space ISIS.
So the first 3 Star Wars, 4, 5, and 6, classics, we can agree.
Yeah, we don't even talk like that, though.
But hold on, but they're classics.
Yeah.
Okay. And then...
Especially when Jabba the Hutt showed up. Okay, people were like, whoa, man.
What stereotype do you think Jabba the Hutt's playing off of? Is he Indian?
I'm going... when I thought about that, I was thinking that fat Arab trader that I used to see in all these old... Because you're in the desert.
Right.
And he's a gluttonous, parasitic,
sexist,
straight for the cash, slave owning, and I thought Arab.
All right, and then in '99, as we all know, Lucas comes out with Phantom Menace, 2002 Attack of the Clones, 2005 Revenge of the Sith. Universally panned. These movies aren't looked on.
We made jokes about that BK.
Yeah, those
Phantom
movies
Menace.
Not very good. They suck. I mean, I loved them when I was younger because I wasn't. I was around, but I was too young to experience the first wave of Star Wars. I mean,
And fuck Luke for wearing all that black in the desert.
He wasn't hot. It's the Force.
The Force keeps you at 72 degrees at all times.
Why not? So anyway, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. I
like the one we went to go see.
Well, we went to go see all 3 of them.
We did?
Yeah, we saw all 3 of them. And I got caught up in the wave. But looking back on it now with more mature eyes and looking at it as standalone films, horrible.
Which one is it where he finds out that they're clones and it's Boba Fett's dad?
That's the second one.
That's the one I'll watch out of all 3.
That's the worst one, I think.
They're
all bad. Part 1.
And I guess we want to see 3 because.
Well, yeah, you want to see 3 because. It's what was that supposed to be?
Wasn't that at the end? He screams that shit when he's fully Vader now.
He screams no.
Oh no!
What was that you just did?
Padme. He's always crying for that bitch.
Isn't that the dumbest? George Lucas, for whatever reason, he can't convey, any sexual chemistry.
How?
He can't write, and he can't create women characters like Padme. What the fuck kind of name is Padme? Leia. I mean, Leia is Leia because it's classic. But Padme, the fuck is that?
Because the reason I take that is he created that whole 50s teenage hot rod scene with his first movie. American Graffiti.
I don't know if that was his first one per se, but one of his earlier movies.
And thanks to TBS, I never knew Mark Hamill had his own movie before that. American Corvette Summer. He was a shop student and someone stole the Corvette they worked on and he went around trying to find it.
Simple premise.
Corvette Summer, something like that. I never knew he did another damn movie.
All right, so...
And he's full of shit too.
Why is that?
His whole explanation about him in Hollywood. Because thanks to the internet, we know better. Looper. on why certain actors and actresses aren't.
I'm a big fan of Looper. I subscribe to. I fucks with Looper.
Yeah, Looper tells the truth on shit. You know, fuck you, Megan Fox. Could have been biggest star out there right now. But anyhow,
she's so hot. Though.
I know.
Michael Bay knows
When
how to shoot.
Beyonce says she wants your legs, and she said that. Well, I mean,
she's got skinny legs. That's not her best feature.
according to Beyonce, it is.
Fuck, Beyonce's got some legs.
I guess she liked that skinny tone look.
I guess.
But fucks with Looper for telling the truth, and Mark Hamill, even though he's had a great career as a voiceover artist, you know,
most notably the Joker, Batman animated series.
We forget he did a John Carpenter movie where he was just a far out crazy character, digging holes in the backyard, graves in the backyard. He was the narrator, basically, of the story. But it's a John Carpenter movie. Not one of the better John Carpenter movies.
He doesn't have a whole lot of good movies anyways.
Well, he's
Escape
from New York, classic.
Halloween, Escape from New York. Did he do Big Trouble Little China?
I think so.
Okay, so you got 3 right there, man. But when you look at his resume, no.
This was a Showtime movie, I believe, too.
But we're straying away from Star Wars.
Yeah, we're staying. Fuck him for the whole. When he tries to play it off by saying, "You're Luke Skywalker, just get over yourself," and when they talk about his lack of Hollywood success, except for those, it's like, fuck you, dude. Just come out with it. Were you on coke? What was the problem? Charlie Sheen ain't got a problem.
Respect the hustle.
So that's how the continuous TNT, TBS, and I know Spike TV and Stars have taken Bond and Star Wars away from TBS, and TBS has gone into their own thing with Ted Turner not at the helm anymore. So, but thanks to those channels, just watched those movies over and over, and through the years, as your filmography expands and you know better, you're looking at some of these movies like, what the fuck? And fuck you, George Lucas. And it's just like, okay, now you have a chance to make things even better with all this CGI and everything else, and you still can't get it right.
Yeah.
Just be an executive producer.
Yeah,
or let your buddy Spielberg do it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where, you know, the movie business, filmmaking, you know, it can be done on your own, but I think it's best as a collaborative effort. You know, clearly he has a vision, but it takes a team of people to make sure that vision...
Well, we understood that with the first one. Nobody wanted to fuck with it. Then it became a hit. So now your budget was bigger, and I don't know. It's just, to me, you don't know how to do movies.
Yeah, he has the vision, but, you know, he still needs to have a team of people with him to make sure that, you know, the vision stays intact and certain things don't take away from other things. Like you say, he was clearly more worried about the technical aspect with those 3 movies he did in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the story, you know, the characters, everything else just kind of went to the side while he focused on advancing the filmmaking
Oliver
process.
Stone writes the screenplay for Star Wars, and that shit is butter, and it's and Luke is strung out on coke, but he's still the man. So, I'm just saying.
So in 05,
no sex.
No sex.
No
like,
sex.
No pussy in the
because
ain't no one fucking in a galaxy far away.
And George Lucas got a black woman. And you ain't talking about fucking?
I guess not. All right, so 05, Revenge of the Sith comes out, and then we had to wait 10 long years before we got the next chapter in Star Wars, and this is the first one that we're really going to dive into. You just saw this for the first time not too long ago. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Just before we really get into details, did you enjoy the movie or not?
I was thoroughly disappointed.
All right, break it down.
Not to be male chauvinistic, got a problem with the female leads in these Star Wars movies. I can't buy into the character for whatever reason, and it basically is kind of like she's a female. And
what do you mean by that? I mean, she is a female.
Yeah, she is a female, but I can't buy her story. She has the Force, and you don't need any kind of training. You just need to figure out that you got the Force, and you just handle business from there on.
Well, okay. What was her story as far as
She
how
was a
you
slave.
interpreted it?
She's waiting for whatever family to come back, which after a minute, you need to go, hey, I'm a dumbass. I need to get the fuck off this Jakar, whatever fucking planet it is.
Jakku, I think.
Jakku, you know. She has the scene.
Snag's like,
Where
Jakku, fuck you. It's all the same shit.
She does her little countdown, how many days she's been there, and she gets a quarter packet for whatever scrap she gets off the... So what are we supposed to take from the Star Destroyer falling there? Is that from which...
From the previous movies.
Clone War battle?
Yeah, from the previous movies.
So she takes that, and, we just know her story as being on that planet and waiting for whatever family to come back.
All right, so... We don't start off with her as far as what we see in the movie.
Bullshit ass Finn.
Well, and we'll get to that here in a second. The movie actually starts off with the introduction of Kylo Ren. What'd you think of him?
Liked it. Mm-hmm. Liked the outfit. Wasn't over the top, subtle.
Did you think it was too much of a callback to Vader?
Not too much because. I didn't look at it like that. I saw just the mask and nothing else robotic and
right. That I felt the same way.
He's just wearing a robe.
Yeah, a lot of people were ragging on the look being really similar. Well, that's what I thought. Vader his suit, had served a purpose.
It kept him his ass alive.
Kept him alive. Whereas he chose to dress that way. It was more ceremonial. I thought. Something
I like to see is, and that goes back to the episodes 1, 2, and 3. Not all the Jedis dressed alike, and they weren't all the same.
Yeah, they didn't have the same color lightsabers.
So why can't there be a Sith Lord who's just like Nino Brown from New Jack City? Well, you know what I'm saying? Why can't he just be cool with the shit? Why does it have to be, face covered or, I'm just you could be in all... Shaft was in all black and kicked ass.
Right.
So why can't you be, I guess in a subtle term, be hood with it? And, I just don't get that part.
So the movie starts off with Kylo Ren, who was, I don't want to butcher the guy's name, but there was
the guy from Girls. And he's on this Logan Lucky, which I want to see.
Right. Well, that's the actor that's playing Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. But he, what brings him to that planet was the older gentleman, I don't remember.
Max Van Sydow, who's been in Rush Hour 3 in every single movie, Judge Dredd. He's old Hollywood.
But what was his character in the movie?
I guess he knew
the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
He had possession of the map, and he gave it to our boy Oscar Isaac, who played Poe Dameron. What'd you think of that character?
Nothing much. It was just a blank. He had no depth and no nothing to me. I wanted to see somebody more like on a Jason Bourne level doing shit like that.
And in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah.
What I found interesting with that character, though, right off the bat, you can see that he's starting to... One of the goals of this new Star Wars movie was to insert some more...
Color,
yeah. And you got that right off the bat with the introduction of his character.
And with the female. Even though we had Leia, though. We just had Leia.
Right, but she was never positioned as the strong, protagonist. This was the first Star Wars that...
And then in the 1, 2, and 3, you had Padme.
Yeah, but...
it's a singular female. That's all you get.
So the movie starts off, we get the introduction of Kylo Ren, we get the introduction of Poe Dameron, the new robot, BB-8. Too much of a callback? What do you think?
Gay.
He's what?
Gay. I'm sorry. Let's call it what it is. That shit's gay.
I love it.
And now that you speak about that, because we're going to go back and forth through the movie, so let's talk about gay-ass, butt-hurt-ass R2-D2. So you just go into shutdown mode? You don't... CP3PO ain't doing that. CP3PO doing this thing serving, and you waiting for punk-ass Luke to come back.
He was programmed.
Programmed what? He put himself on that shit, and then he wakes up when DD shows up? Oh, come on.
It was all part of the plan.
All part of the fucking plan.
All right,
so... Spare parts in the motherfucker R2-D2.
So, Kylo Ren comes down... captures Poe Dameron because he suspects him. being in possession of the map, which he handed off to BB-8, Poe Dameron did. And they take his ass away, and that's where we run into Finn and all that good stuff. So you mentioned
Finn starts to get the shakes.
There, at that very...
Because he sees his homeboy dead.
Right.
But y'all don't see each other's faces. So.
But here, I did have an issue with that scene right there. It's the what the hell are they called in that movie? Not the Empire, the First Order. They seem to be the kind of people that as soon as they saw that hesitation, yeah.
They're like Nazis.
Right.
From Dirty Dozen. Oh, we ain't playing with that. Hey, shoot him.
Exactly. He apparently
Oh, we're going to wait and reprogram. We need to reprogram him.
What'd you think of old girl Captain Phasma? Because isn't she in Game of Thrones too?
I don't see her face. I don't remember. I thought she kept her uniform on the whole time.
No, she did in Force Awakens, but as far as the actress
Who is it?
I'm fixing to look her up. Gwendolyn Christie.
Oh, so it's Brianna Tarth, the big blonde-headed chick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Brianna Tarth.
So she plays Captain Phasma, and there was a big, a big to do when she got casted, and then you watch the movie and like you said,
don't even
never
see her face. So it's just these jerk off nerds. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I don't care if you run your own software company and got more cake than me. You are what you are. You are. You didn't get none then. You ain't getting none now.
No,
I'm just saying.
Listen, they're getting some now.
Getting a little something now.
They may be paying for it, but they're getting it.
But to go that, I know sometimes I go over the top in what I say, but goddamn, give it a break. Especially if you don't see her ass. But that's the thing I take away from that. That's what I want to see more of. All the first six, we just see stormtroopers in white. And even the cartoon, everything's like that or a commander will have a blue shoulder shield or something like that. I like seeing, or like, what was the name of Vader's personal guard? Those red motherfuckers, or the Emperor's personal guard.
I don't know.
The red motherfuckers.
The red mother. I like that name.
Yeah. They more. Oh no, they were Crimson. They were the Crimson. You don't know the name
red
of
motherfuckers.
This?
I don't know.
They got a name.
I'm sure they do. I can't. Think
and
of
which
it.
G.I. Joe kind of subsequently steals for Serpentor.
But they were so badass that Yoda just.
Yeah, that was kind of.
But that's Yoda. Yoda could do that.
But I like that. I like seeing that there was differences. You got the black ones, which I thought were only pilots. The black uniformed stormtroopers, which that's why I think I enjoyed Rogue One a little bit. Now I could see distinctions in the Empire and these people and that people and the director and whatever, the Admiral, whatever his name was. That's what I want to see.
And we'll touch base on Rogue One here shortly. Let's wrap up episode 7. So Kylo Ren, Rey, Poe Dameron, Finn. We didn't talk about Finn yet. So
we
Finn,
need to get in on Finn.
Predominantly black. The first time that I could think of, there's been black characters in Star Wars before. You had your boy Lando, portrayed by Billy D. Williams. But this is the first time where he's an actual lead portrayed by a black actor. What'd you think of that?
Well, a lot of people I didn't think nothing of it because we've always made jokes since Star Wars. Me personally, and lots of comics. Like there ain't no black people in the future, and the other thing was Samuel L. Jackson went in on this about a lot of these hit movies now. They're using foreign black actors instead of American black actors,
and I believe
because
they're
foreign.
not.
Yeah, he's
English, I believe.
He's English, like all black athletes, especially in Get Out.
That dude's English as well?
He's not American.
Wow.
He played a good role in pronounce it for me. The Benicio del Toro where he's killing cartel. Sicario. And Get Out, so that's his major hit right there, Get Out. And we all know it's Idris Elba has opened the doors.
Yeah,
I just wish Dark
phenomenal.
Tower would have did better.
I saw that one coming a mile away.
There's 8 books. What are y'all gonna do? Just end it right then and there.
Well, if the box office has anything to do with it, yeah, you end it.
Oh fuck, Matthew McConaughey. I thought he'd get a little break again. I thought he'd get a little hit after Dallas Buyers Club, and seemed like he was back on track.
So we talked about, Finn being shook on that very first
Yeah, what's
scene
up
of
with
the
that?
planet.
So there's no more clones. We just grab you and reprogram you.
They gave me the impression that they were like snatched from birth or at a very, very young age.
So let me take it there. That sorry ass movie from Kurt Russell, Soldier, where you're taken from birth and turned into a soldier. He had no fucking feelings, and he was still murdering shit. He finally got some sort of emotion to save these people, but he was still killing shit.
He just pussed
Finn
out for no
act
reason.
like they just threw the goddamn the fucking gun in his hand.
Yeah, he acted like
and it
that
was
was
like
his-
day one.
Yeah, like it was his first mission or something. I had an issue with that as well. And if we're to assume that they were trained since birth, I mean General Hux made a comment similar to that hey, my men were highly trained from a young age, something like that. Where did he develop these other feelings? Like where was he exposed to the sassy attitude and the stuff? How did he develop his own personality?
And he's the only one who decided I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah, he could
Because-
have been the only one.
Because just like when we watch prison movies and shit like that, people tend to, hey, I'm getting out. You down? Yeah, I'm down.
Right.
Let's get the fuck up out.
Yeah, let's a group effort.
Let's get the because
bigger our
if
group, the more
the
chances
first
we have.
empire is that big, are they missing a few stormtroopers? I mean, I know they keep tabs on them, but
Yeah, Kylo Ren knew like that.
yeah, he
oh,
looked at him
old
and
boy.
said, yeah, yo bitch ass.
He knew his number right away.
You ain't nothing but damn. What was Michael B. Jordan's name on The Wire one of the great scenes that you never see.
Wally.
You know he gets shot.
Wallace.
And you know he pisses his pants. But it was a great scene that they didn't show that. It was just from the angle of
From
boy.
Bodhi.
Yeah, Bodhi and
Did it, man.
you should have stayed in Maryland. What were you doing back in the hood?
Snack said, Wallace got a go.
Well, Wallace was snitching.
So then we get introduced to Rey shortly here in this in the movie after we meet Kylo Ren, Finn, Poe Dameron, BB-8.
On the heels of Luke, tinkers around, knows how to do the little shit mechanical and whatever. They get on the fucking Millennium Falcon, which jacked.
Which leads to Han Solo eventually showing up in the movie. How'd you think Harrison Ford looked? Did he look out of place to you, or
He didn't look out of place. I'm glad that they brought him back with age, obviously, because with the storyline, and I guess Chewie's 200 years old, right?
yeah,
So
he didn't age at all, Chewie.
Yeah, so I hated that all of a sudden, I guess he's nothing but your typical quote-unquote hood nigga and just went back to the streets.
Right. He just went back to
You
what he
led a
knew.
rebellion and you make out with a princess, and then all of a sudden, I'm going back to smuggling
with Chewie.
with Chewie. Man, fuck this normal suburb fucking life. Let me go back and hustle.
Did you know Kylo Ren was his son prior to watching the movie?
Yeah. I thought it was a good twist. I like to see characters develop. Like, what the fuck happened?
Right.
Like, y'all live normal lives, right? We fucking, right? I mean, people are getting married, all this. I like that because it showed depth. Like, yeah, he went and started a family. That's why I don't understand. Even if you and Leia, you lost your son to the dark side, that drove you to just go back to
smuggling.
because it seemed like y'all didn't see each other since what?
Long
the way
time.
they make it seem like he
Since-
was a little kid.
Yeah,
like,
since he went off to Jedi school.
so y'all just broke it off like that, and now
Never
he's
never paid his part of child support.
And because look, he owed everybody else money.
Yeah, he's still running from Jabba probably, or relatives of Jabba because Jabba's dead. I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, what the hell, man?
So Han, Chewie, and eventually we see Leia later on. Now you made a comment to me. She didn't look too hot, did she?
She was on dope then.
She's aged.
Drugs would do that to you, and heavy drinking.
I mean, but she has like a plastic look to her that it just doesn't look natural at all. I don't know if it was CG touch-ups or what, but her face looked digitally enhanced.
I saw that, and I was thinking she's just a dope fiend, which is what she was. I don't care what these little Star Wars motherfuckers. What do we call Star Wars motherfuckers?
Star Wars motherfuckers.
It's not Trekkies, because Trekkies is cool and you can't diss coolness like Trekkies. I knew her. I know more of her background than you because I watch all those movies, and I obviously knew her background with Debbie Reynolds being her mom and Eddie Fisher. And
Shout out to Eddie Fisher. That's such a cool name.
Eddie Fisher, who banged Elizabeth Taylor and caused the breakup between her and Debbie Reynolds.
Respect, playboy.
And then her mom dying a week later after her.
That
How
was
does the
pretty
brother feel? Like, hey,
Like, damn, am I next?
no, like, man, fuck you, mom. Was Carrie that more important that you died of a broken heart? And I'm here?
That's messed up.
That must be what Angelina Jolie's brother feels.
We see Princess Leia. We see the little reunion between her and Han
It's
Solo.
almost like she couldn't talk. It's like what they're doing with Mariah Carey. Have you seen some of the YouTube?
Man, she looks bad.
I want my money back from that concert. If people are picking her up to put her on her spot because she gained so much weight and can't move.
Respect the laziness.
Nick Cannon will do that to you.
And Nick Cannon fucking all kind of shit now if you go on Instagram. I get a jam.
So, just to kind of, pick up the, kind of go fast forward here in the movie, eventually we get to the part where Kylo Ren sleeps Han Solo. You felt a certain way about that.
It was phony. I saw right through the bad acting, which I always gave him credit of being a better actor. If you ever saw the Kylo Ren Undercover Boss.
Yeah, I did. That was
skit,
hilarious.
Fuck it, S now.
I heard Kylo Ren has like a 12 pack. What did he say? Something like that? Yeah, 12 abs.
That was such weak acting that I saw right through it, and then I went, oh shit, this is where he gets it. Because I already knew Han died. And I'm like, oh, this is where he gets it because I saw right through the whole scene.
And then he falls, he gets
He
stabbed.
falls in the reactor.
He falls in the reactor,
It's a
kinda like the Empire.
lightsaber. Doesn't it cut shit in half? Because last time I checked, Darth Maul was cut in half. So if I'm sitting there with a hot blade
At a high angle.
and looking at you and having a conversation, that shit should be just going like this right here. Neither here nor there because that's just being a little bit facetious. Like, okay, whatever. Motherfucker should have been sliced in half right then and there. I could have done without all the talk. And when he decided to go for the kill shot, it should have been blah blah, like one of them double edge, just da da.
And he also had the hilt on the sword. He could have done a little throat action too with
Which
the hilt.
that, a lot of people, I don't know if you saw that, talked about was that religious because it's a cross and
No, I just think
it's-
he's just trying to be creative. Just something different.
it should have been a fucking spear lightsaber. What's up with that? You can't have one of those?
Yeah, but you throw it, does it come back?
Like a spear? No. Well, yeah. No, because you got well, it's not called a spear, but it's called
The bow staff?
I guess you want to call
That's
it
what Darth
that.
Maul had.
Or
but-
like a fucking lightsaber hammer, a war hammer. What's wrong with a war hammer? Everybody wants it. In Game of Thrones, Robert Baratheon had a war hammer, which he defeated Daenerys' uncle. Everybody talked about a war hammer. When we gonna see the war hammer? There's even video games called War Hammer.
Snaggle's like, a lightsaber lasso.
Kingsman.
Oh, that's right. They beat me to it.
Kingsman.
That shit looks corny though, man.
I gotta see part one though.
You haven't seen part
two,
one?
old dude from Narcos. That the lasso turns into a lightsaber.
That's him?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
No, not the character Pablo, the cop.
The guy, the guy that was in Logan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So Han Solo gets it, and then I know this is where you get really worked up. Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, lightsaber battles.
You're telling me through every movie we've ever seen, and let's include reality, even Bruce Lee needed to be taught how to fight. Even Bruce Leroy, before he got the glow, had to be taught how to fight. Just because you have the Force, didn't Anakin have to be taught? That's the reason why you have your mentor. You are trained, and you just all of a sudden work on engines and live off a half a pack of whatever the fuck that was, Eden. And you live on Jakar with nothing. You don't even fight. It's one thing if you fought, if you were a fighter. Like in most movies, the guys...
Earlier in the movie, you see she knows how to handle herself.
Handling yourself doesn't mean you take on a Sith Lord who's been trained since birth.
No one said he was a Sith Lord. and we don't know how long he's been training. We assume he's been training since a very young age.
We don't assume. We know he took care of everybody Luke trained. So you have enough balls to go, fuck it, murdering everybody. You pulled your grandfather move before you even knew your grandfather did it.
Let me tell you, and where did he get the mask? That's what I want to know, man.
He made that shit. I mean, there's some R&D part of the First Order. You just go up in there.
Look at your mask.
You know, it's you get your outfit together.
He probably asked it like this: "Let me get grandfather's mask."
Oh yeah, we don't make that model no more, but I can do this for you. How about this is gonna be you? Oh, you could, cause you Kylo Ren. You Kylo Ren, you ain't your grandfather. Let Vader be Vader. Let me hook this butter shit up for you. Because the way they do it, I'm assuming there's a guy.
Listen, Rey obviously has been trained before.
Okay, I get that from the lightsaber scene when she had to go get it. But don't tell me just because you was training a little kid and stop, all of a sudden...
It comes back to you.
It comes
like
back
riding a bike.
to you. So she could take Vader.
I didn't say that. But Kylo Ren is not fully trained either. You know, he's
light years ahead of her ass.
How do you know? Obviously he wasn't.
He's been killing fuckers, and with the first, she ain't been doing no killing or nothing. His mindset, you saw he already knew about Finn.
But you know what? This is what
he stopped the bullets too. He stopped the lasers, right? Remember that was some nice. I like this scene.
That was a really nice scene. But okay, I'm glad
take this tech.
But you I'm glad you brought up that scene because they tell you certain things real subtle, like when he's focused. You got to understand he's a young man. He's a young man who's kind of going through the motions. He doesn't know how to control. And the Emperor's
like, "Well, when you see your dad."
Exactly, he doesn't know how to control his emotions.
Pull the trigger, nigga.
So at the very first scene, like you said, he stops the laser in midair. He's focused in on a particular goal. He wants to get this map. And then he gets shook when he runs into Rey. And Rey is resistant to his powers and it shakes him up. And now he's unsure. And, and that fucks with his ability to use the Force. It's so simple. I can't believe you don't see it. She
hasn't been trained since she was a shit-nosed kid. You cannot tell me you could go into battle against somebody who's highly trained and has been running the universe for the last some odd years with the Emperor looking over him. Now, we don't know there's other Sith guys, but the Emperor is focused on Kylo Ren. We need to make Kylo Ren the man.
Well, listen, he's not the Emperor. In the movie, they call him Supreme Leader Snoke. What do you think
Snoke ain't no joke.
Who do you think he is?
I'm saying he's top tier. If he's not the Emperor, then he's the Mike Pence of the First Order. He's the VP. He's okay.
What do you think of the hologram? Do you think that's his true size, or he's No,
I just think that's a hologram.
Just a hologram. So
because we've watched enough movies.
So you're expecting a regular size guy?
Well, I'm expecting like the Emperor.
Right, just a regular
because this ain't Game of Thrones. There's no giants.
All right, so of course there's rumors. There's an abundance of rumors. So one of the hot rumors.
So Smoke could be the man.
Well, one of the hot rumors out there is that Snoke is actually Kylo Ren in the future. Do you hear about that?
Yeah, ugly dude.
Well, he got cut up in the face, and the use of
wasn't that like an alien though? That guy looked green and bald, and
he looked like a fucked up Freddy Krueger is what he looked like.
Okay,
it was at one point he was human. I think what you're looking at is through.
So now when you're whatever, you can become something else.
No. I think that
he got that fucked up in the future where they make hands that work just like the real thing. You can't get fucking fixed. Starship Troopers, the drill sergeant broke old boy's arm, compound fracture. They put that shit in an air cast with some blue gel. He was good in an hour. So in a galaxy far, far away where they make shit and food in a little pellet is all meals,
maybe he's trying to disguise himself.
Well, isn't there a hologram that could cover your body? I mean, honestly, I'm just... We could go a lot of ways with this, but I can't buy that dumb shit.
Where do you think the story goes from here?
When you make movies now, you need to think everybody's already seen everything. and you need to follow that, and develop your story around that. And you may not think it's original, but you need to not insult. And I believe this movie, this insulted me in every way, shape, or form. And the Alliance is full of shit. You just had billions of people just die from this fucking Death Star. Who's giving the First Empire the funding, the First Order the funding? The Alliance, y'all can't do this shit? Because it wasn't a Death Star, right? It was just something they put on a planet that sucked the juice out of the sun. And now the rays can branch off and hit multiple targets, which the Death Star couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And this whole time, y'all motherfuckers been doing what? What have you been doing, Alliance? Y'all blew up the first Death Star, which, I mean, didn't put the Empire out of commission, as we know. But where's your fucking funding? You can't take one planet and say, hey, man, we got to stop the Empire, the First Order. We're making our own Death Star to counteract their
Death Star.
Oh, I'm in my 40s. I lived through most of my life has been under mutual assured destruction. We all knew we got this many nukes. Soviets have this many nukes. That was the point of it. We all got the same shit to kill each other. And that was a part of what they call MAD. And I grew up on Fort Sill, knowing that there's ICBMs over at the motor pool, and everybody pretending like they didn't know after they found out. And you may have not known, but there was silos in Altus for nukes. We all have the same shit. So the way I saw Star Wars was in the 80s, everything was propaganda in the 80s. Red Dawn, Invasion USA, the commies are coming. And the Alliance was America. The Empire, as Ronald Reagan said, the evil empire, was the Russians. So, fuck you, Alliance. Just because you can't get your shit together?
Bringing knives to a gunfight.
Exactly. The First Order ain't playing. But once again, the First Order, overwhelming force, and get taken out.
Does seem a little too simple.
And you outnumber...
outclass, outmuscle.
Before we had this conversation, I was trying to get into all that. So I went on the YouTube channels, and there's YouTube channels of how did the Empire and the First Order are able to build their force without going broke, or and they talk about whatever planet that is where they build the Star Destroyers, because they actually put a price tag on a Star Destroyer. I forgot how many trillion it is for the Star Destroyer. But how do you get the manpower? This is all just people you caught from birth? I mean, how many worlds are there? I know this is going a little far, but I'm sorry, man. I want to see the Empire win, because that's what happens in reality. And unless you mean to tell me every time the Empire or First Order or whoever they're going to be called next develop something gigantic, you're just going to try to figure out a sweet spot or get the plans.
It works every time. So episode 7, not a big fan of it, I take it.
I can never watch it again.
All right. Rogue One. It seemed like you enjoyed Rogue One a little bit better.
I like Rogue One because I think it was filmed differently. I like Rogue One because I got what I'm looking for.
The inner workings of the Empire.
Inner workings of the Empire.
The pecking order.
Yes, I like that. Old boy he'd been dead for years, but CGI'd and the director.
Did you notice he was just a governor in Rogue One? We're talking about Governor Tarkin.
Yeah.
Where in Star Wars, I believe he was Grand Moff Tarkin, I believe, in Star Wars.
And I want to know, and I've always pointed out that he gave orders to Vader.
Right. I mean, listen, it's clear that Vader wasn't. They didn't know what they had in Vader. It's you kind of have to like backtrack.
You see, I don't buy shit like that because you guys make this, and we're like, anybody would say back then, like we did, man, that's cool, man. Vader bad as fuck.
Yeah, but it's one thing.
So you thought it was just not gonna make it? Oh, well, he's just a character.
Yeah, that's what they thought.
But he's key to the story about being the father. So
I don't think all of that was worked out yet.
So Rogue One, like, I would entertain watching it again, but no time soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought a better cast of actors.
Yeah, much better cast.
I
of
like
actors.
the Arab dude. He's doing big things on Netflix. He was they were referring to him as the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pilot for the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
We have radical Islam in the form of Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, who was on his deathbed when he was filming that movie.
Whatever, he's was more machine than man. I liked.
What did you think of the back-to-back movies, back-to-back female leads?
Too much of trying to force something.
Yeah, you know what, man? I can live with Rey in Force Awakens.
I would have preferred Oscar Isaac in Rogue One as the main character.
You know what? I could see that.
He's too big to just have just that one role.
Yeah, just that one little role. I can see that working. Either him or Finn, to be quite honest. But if I'm gonna choose between Rey and Jyn Erso, I think I'm gonna go with Rey. I wasn't a fan of Jyn Erso in the movie.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of neither one of them. But I could have did without that. And the Alliance, that whole story is predicated on fucking dumb fucking luck to win every single battle. The planetary defense thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, a Star Destroyer just happened to be disabled, completely disabled. And that old fish motherfucker,
the walrus.
My mind won't let me thinking of these movies any other way. You're on this fucking planet, which is the U.S. Army version of being stationed in Hawaii.
Beautiful planet.
Beautiful shit, and no bitches. And once again, even there can't be
clone in a galaxy far away.
Women. You couldn't take women and made them soldiers, because if the First Order is that big and the Empire is that big, it just can't be dudes. I mean, you're mind wiping everybody. You're mind wiping everybody. So that's something else. And these guys are just too ruthless for me to. You losing like that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, yeah, they got the plans out, man, but they escaped by like the thinnest of margins, man. The whole squad died. You got to give the Empire that. Homeboy wasn't fucking around. He was like, take out that whole planet. He wanted to take out the planet. He knows he's got his men are on that planet. I mean,
well, they just take out the city though. They never take. You remember, he only targets the city of Chikara. The planet is still intact.
No, at the end of the movie.
Oh, at the end of the movie.
Yeah, where he was trying to stop them from getting the plans out. I mean, they blew up that whole goddamn planet.
So what does that tell you? We got buku dudes. That's just a fraction of my squad. That's the third goddamn string on the most important planet with our information on it. And in the future, you still have hard drives.
Thumb drives and shit. They had the plans on a USB stick.
I saw a PS6 commercial almost 15 years ago where it was a joke that you were playing through your mind.
That's where it's going.
But you're telling me, in a galaxy far, far away, which I'm going to estimate, you tell me if I'm wrong, I'm just going to say it's 3,000 human years in the future. This is just, Earth, what's Earth? Shit like that. We're humans, but they never say shit like that in there. They never distinguish. Only on certain aliens they distinguish what race they are from aliens. But yeah,
a big ass hard drive too. That shit was huge. It looked like an old Xbox.
I mean,
but that's the tricky part about trying to do a prequel to a movie that is old as fuck. The prequel, the new shit, it's gonna inherently look better than the old shit.
Just thought about something.
Lay it on me.
So you're telling me in Rogue One they had a planetary defense system that covered the entire planet in the shield. But let's go to The Force Awakens, which is in the future.
And they didn't
the Death Star planet doesn't have. You see, that's my point. Stop insulting me. Because when we talk now, more and more stuff comes up. Wait a minute, you didn't have a. Because what does Family Guy do? What does Stewie say? We can't put a bit of wood on this little part right here to protect it? You fucking clowning me.
Listen, this is what they
No,
need to
I'm
do.
sorry. Martin Scorsese does the next Star Wars.
The next Star Wars is done. It's in the can.
Well, the next one.
Episode 10.
Let's go.
Or episode 9.
Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Departed 2.
Hey, what about the Han Solo movie coming out?
Who's the star of that?
I don't know.
I
man,
just
but-
know who's
but-
going to play Lando.
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
You know
Whose
what?
last sci-fi movie was Interstellar? Was The Martian.
Listen, I don't give a shit what Han Solo was doing prior to Star Wars.
So former officer is what I'm understanding of the Empire.
I have no idea. Is that really where they're going?
That's a rumor I heard.
That's lame.
He's just one of
Why
the...
was that never mentioned? Again,
I'm not saying this is
again,
something...
we're trying to make up a backstory to a movie that's already been made.
And another thing, when you go on Instagram, they kind of blur real life with real... They blur stormtroopers with soldiers now. Like, there's even scenes, people make photos of stormtroopers who have tattoos talk about never forget the Death Star tattooed on their hands. You know, like any soldiers throughout history do.
Right.
You know, they fight together, they die together. That's what I want to see. Shit like that.
Something that's
I
a little
want
more
like
grounded in reality.
he has checked mark how many fucking rebels he motherfucking got. Or he's wearing fucking ears of fucking rebels. He just sit there,
Or like
trophy.
Your boy Grievous, General Grievous, who collected the lightsabers.
That is dope. Hey, I fucked your homeboys up. And let me kill you with his lightsaber. I got 6 hands. Let's do this. But that's my point. And so now you insult me by saying something in the past had a planetary defense system, and something in the future didn't have a planetary defense system.
And you know what? That right there is actually a little inexcusable because those movies, they're only
Too
a year
close.
apart. Yeah.
So don't give me the.
I mean,
yeah,
timeline
think
wise,
about
they're
it.
apart, but
So there's not proofreaders. We're not sitting here going.
what they need to do is they need to send us.
They
the
need to
script.
watch their movie.
They need no, fuck that. They need to send us not their script. Send us the finished product. And let us watch that shit for you and be like, hey, listen, this is what you need to fix.
If The Dark Tower did $3 million in retakes, you can afford us.
There you go. I'll do it for less than $3 million. How much will you do it for? Snag me.
I want points.
I got a bucket of chicken with your name on it.
I want points off the back end on sales. And a little cut of something else overseas money.
Yeah, we ain't seeing none of that shit.
Well, hey, you won't get any of these questions. The motherfuckers will be like, man, this movie is perfect. And then there's bitches. And you see, I guarantee you if there's a sex scene, it will cause such an uproar.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee they'll be like, oh, there ain't no sex in Star Wars. Well, how the fuck did Luke get born? I mean, the whole story is that Vader plugged Padme and he wasn't supposed to. You old gay-ass Jedis. The Sith out here fucking bitches. Right?
I suppose so, man.
Sith fucking bitches.
Sith fucking bitches. And we're going to end it on that note. Appreciate everyone listening.
Go see Paid in Full.
Appreciate everyone listening to this episode of the P.T.G.C. Podcast. A little trip to the movies. We'll catch y'all next time.
I just